Welcome back to 504 Road Trips. In today's video, we pick up at mile 55 on US Highway 1 in the Middle Keys. The roadway has narrowed back down to one lane each way, but the pavement is smooth with a wide shoulder. Off to the left is a separate paved path paralleling US-1. That is the Florida Keys Overseas Heritage Trail, a state-managed multi-use path that already has more than 90 miles complete along a planned 106-mile Key Largo to Key West corridor. It gives cyclists and pedestrians an option away from traffic while tying together beaches, parks, fishing piers, and old bridge remnants all across the Keys. That trail sits on or beside the old right-of-way of Henry Flagler's Overseas Railroad. Flagler's Florida East Coast Railway pushed through the Keys in the early 1900s and reached Key West in 1912, a feat newspapers called the eighth wonder of the world. The line ran until the 1935 Labor Day hurricane shattered many bridges. Florida then bought what remained of the right-of-way, and much of it became the overseas highway we're driving today. The trail reclaims that corridor for non-motorized travel. The Florida Keys Overseas Heritage Trail is also the southern end of the East Coast Greenway, a planned 3,000-mile walking and biking route from Key West to the Canadian border in Maine. In Florida, the Greenway runs nearly 600 miles and finishes by island hopping across the Keys on this very path, where completed segments alternate with short on-road gaps. As we roll northeast through the last stretches of Marathon, the trail and highway cross the same channels you'll see named on the old railroad charts. The path uses a mix of purpose-built bike bridges, former railroad spans converted as fishing and walking piers, and side paths adjacent to US-1. One highlight ahead is the historic Long Key crossing, where a dedicated path runs beside the new bridge and the old viaduct survives as a scenic fishing walkway. We crossed Tom's Harbor Channel and briefly touched Duck Key. Tom's Harbor refers to the shallow flats, islets, and channels between Grassy Key and Duck Key, a little archipelago that includes the Tom's Harbor Keys. The state's paddling guide plots this whole stretch between about mile 59 and mile 71 with Duck Key, Conch Keys, and Long Key all lining the route. Next is Tom's Harbor Cut, a second crossing of the same named waterway system, as we land on Conch Key. Conch Key is a tiny island community with working docks, a few small lodging properties, and vacation rentals. It does not have its own city government, instead it's part of the unincorporated Monroe County and is grouped with adjacent Duck Key for census purposes. The combined Duck Key census-designated place had 727 residents at the 2020 census. ahead is Long Key Bridge over Long Key Channel. The modern bridge is almost 2.5 miles long and opened in 1982, replacing the parallel Long Key Viaduct that carried trains from the 1910s to 1935 and then automobiles for decades. The old multi-arch viaduct still stands on the right as a beloved fishing and walking span, showing off the railroad's distinctive concrete arch design if you're looking at it from a boat. You can't see much of it from the adjacent bridge. We enter Long Key. Outside the small city of Layton, Long Key is lightly developed with pockets of homes, canals, and a lot of public land and shoreline access. The centerpiece for visitors is Long Key State Park, a 965-acre preserve at roughly mile 67.5. Early Spanish charts called this island Cayo Vibora, or Viper Key, a reference to the island's snake-like outline. Today the park offers day-use boardwalks, paddling, birding, shallow flats for wading, and excellent views across Florida Bay and the Atlantic. Camping here has been in flux since Hurricane Irma, and the day-use areas are the reliable draw for now. We enter the City of Layton, which sits right on Long Key. It incorporated in 1963 and remains one of Florida's smallest cities. Layton had a population of 210 at the 2020 census. It began as a post-war fishing camp developed by Dell and Mary Layton, and it still caters to anglers and paddlers with canal front lodging and quick access to both the backcountry and the reef. Back on open Long Key, the highway and trail run close to the water, with mangroves, flats, and causeway vistas on both sides. As we leave the island, the route takes the Channel No. 5 bridge. We'll wrap up today's run here at mile 71. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. post a comment below, subscribe, share and follow us on social media, and join us for our next 504 road trip.